Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, and I'm your host, Jason Glick.
How's it going, Jason?
Hey, it's going all right. Yes, like we're back to normal service after like several weeks of like interruptions of technical and other crap variety. So yeah, but here we are again, and yeah, like last time I talked about one of the most important male figures in manga today. And this time I figured I'd talk about one of the most important female figures, in the sense that, you know, it's like it's a nice counterpart, and the fact that like everything this lady does these days, it's absolutely fantastic. I'm talking, of course, of Fumi Yoshinaga, author of Antique Bakery, Flower of Life, and Oku. Also on various yaoi works, but we'll get to that in a little while. Okay, now it's like I mentioned this because she was doing a lot of stuff for years, and it's whenever her you hear about her new stuff and you just hear like lots of good things. I mean, her main skill as a writer is that she has an uncanny knack for conveying real character scenarios. I mean, in the sense that like just the characters in the work she depicts just feel real and natural. They don't feel forced. It's just real human emotion and interactions are her skill. Just depicting them over the in her works. And so far, like Antique Bakery is her must read series. I mean, it was nominated for an Eisner over here, and for a Japanese author to get nomination for, what was it? I think it was either best writer artist or best continuing series for Antique Bakery, and that's still a major accomplishment for any Japanese author.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and with this, so it's like Antique Bakery. It's not a real sensational work by any means. It's basically just like a really nice, quiet, character-driven piece. The stories of four guys who work at a bakery store. It's like just like a nice fancy nice store that sells fancy cakes and pastries. And it's like main guys are like Eiji Kanda. It's like a former boxer who, after he suffers from detached retinas, he has to give up boxing and find something else to do. Keiichiro Tachibana, the owner of the shop and the main greeter there, whose main tragedy is that he is almost, but not quite as cool and suave as he thinks he is. Okay, and Yusuke Ono, the main cook there, who is best described as a gay of demonic charm, and Chikage, who is Keiichiro's quote unquote manservant, though his main tragedy is that he is dumber than a sack of hammers. And the story of Antique Bakery is just like following them as they go through each day, whether it's just dealing with unruly customers, or dealing with the Christmas rush, or again just like finding new recipes for stuff. Because it's interesting how Eiji, even though he's like set up as a former delinquent who channels his rage into becoming a boxer, he then finds out that he's got a real talent for making pastries. And even though Ono, who is really only got into this just because he found out that, I happen to have a talent for this, but I'm not really like big on making pastries. It's like he figures like Ono realizes that, it's like like teaching this guy, this is kind of like makes all this stuff I've learned about making pastries worthwhile. And with Keiichiro, though, it's like he's also got like a hidden tragedy in his past, how he was kidnapped as a kid, escaped from his captor, but the case is never actually solved. They never actually found the guy. And the whole reason he sets up this bakery is because he the guy who captured him fed him like sweets. It's like while he was kidnapped, and so like he's doing this out of like some some folly of his, just to try to make it, maybe I'll find like the guy who kidnapped me, and maybe I'll find some sort of closure to this particular period in my life. And he does, but not in the way that you'd expect. But overall, it's just like it's a fun series, because like even though it's very character driven, it's very funny because Yoshinaga has a great eye for character driven humor, and like her art is spot on for a lot of this stuff. And even when she does the characters in much more simpler lines to illustrate humor, it doesn't come off as forced or gimmicky at all. It's a great absorbing work, and and also especially if you like pastries and sweets, because like you see this stuff they're talking about here, and I've got really no interest in like the making of all the stuff they talk about here, or just like the whole like patissier work ethic. It's still like I still like look at something. I'd love to like eat everything they describe in this series. That's a great accomplishment right there. But really, it's great character driven stuff that I'd recommend just about anyone. Even if you're not the kind of guy who goes in for this kind of guy or person who goes in for this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's like I'd recommend it just because it's that well done. Now that being said, the other series or second series that was released from Digital Manga Publishing, mm-hmm. Flower of Life. It takes a much more stock premise. Basically, kids in high school, just like talking about like Flower of Life. Basically refers to like your high school years, like time when you're the most potential to do just about anything in life. And she focuses on another core set of characters, but also like a much larger cast because she's also taken context of she's also talking about a bunch of other like entire high school class here. But the main characters are Harutaru, a kid who a kid who's like really really bright and energetic, but he also recently suffered from a tragedy. He recently overcame leukemia and joined his class late. Shota, who becomes Harutaru's best friend, a short chubby manga aspiring mangaka or manga creator, and Kai, who is basically the otaku of steel. Basically every negative stereotype you could imagine about otaku, it's like they're this guy right here, and he just it's not that that this guy's created just to make fun of otaku, but it's just like he is just like every like all the bad points of them. Like he's obsessive, particular. It's like driven by a sense of like self superiority. It's like every negative aspect of played to the utter hilt. And it's like he's an interesting character because of that. Because if you just gone for like otaku are stupid, look at this guy type of deal, it just would have just been dull. But going from with him, it was so much interesting, especially after he starts betting the teacher of the class.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it basically just follows characters over the course of a year in high school, and you get like standard things like the high school, like what are they gonna do for their culture festival event? How is everyone what's everyone gonna do for Christmas? It's like, and it's like we're gonna do is like whenever goes up for next year. It's like it's good stuff, and like her skills serves her well here because like really like the thrust of this is just like Harutaru is like kind of the point of view character here because he's the new guy and we're seeing a lot of the stuff through his eyes, but also this is also Yoshinaga takes his eyes as what's apparently I think it's becoming a more common thing in some mangakas agendas these days. It's showing like it's like what is the aspiring manga creator thing like Harutaru and Shota basically team up to, like they want to become like manga creators, and like we also get to see kind of like what does it take to be a manga creator, like for a high school kid, and it's handled well, even though it's like it really only picks up steam in like the last two volumes once they actually start publishing manga, and also going to a Comic-Cat style event in order to deal with an editor who at first thoroughly trashes their work just because that's his style.
Right.
Yeah, and then like once he realizes that I've been a complete douche, and then they come back to him saying we want to prove that you were wrong. He winds up quickly cottoning to their approach. Yeah, that's kind of the thing that picks up focuses on the majority of the last few volumes, but also yet Kai's relationship with their teacher, who in a nice reversal, at first you think like that their teacher is like a really flamboyantly gay dude, and like until you realize that wait this is the chick. Yeah, and it's like it's funny because she's having an affair with their married teachers, And then after she realizes that this guy just doesn't have her best interests at heart, she kind of like gloms onto Kai because she mistakes his confidence and sex appeal for just like a sure knowledge of how romance manga tends to play out. So she gloms onto him, and then like starts to develop their romance like blossoms in just about all the wrong ways. And well, this has a lot of the strengths of Antique Bakery, like the real sure knowledge of character interaction and development. The problem is that she's dealing with the cast she's dealing with is much too large in order to work sufficiently into 4 volumes total. Now, but for Antique Bakery is also 4 volumes with like a main cast of like four guys. That's a sufficient area to work with to give everyone like equal page time and show them and like give them like all their moments to shine and everything. With this though, by the end of the 4, it's fine for the first 3 volumes, but then you get to the 4th volume and you're getting the feeling of we gotta wrap this up now. It's like Harutaro and Shota's manga creation thing comes to a very quick end. The relationship between Kai and the teacher also gets really short shrift as well. And it's like, I guess it's on one hand it's a strength of the series that like I wanted to see more of this, but didn't get to see it. But I just wish that she'd gone to like say 6 volumes, show this year in the lives of the characters, just because like that probably would have given all the characters much more room to shine, because like all the characters are interesting, even though they all kind of to a certain extent they all kind of represent like standard character types for like high school manga type characters. I mean, it's good, not quite as good as Antique Bakery, but I'd still say it's worth your time. Okay, now her latest series is published by Viz for a nice change of pace. And I mentioned earlier that she also does a lot of yaoi or guy on guy work. Sure. Now, be honest, like much as I like the stuff her stuff, I have zero interest in checking any of that stuff out, because it's like there doesn't seem to be any merit to it beyond just it's like it's guys having sex with each other, and it's like that would probably float a lot of people's boats, but not mine. Now, I mention this because her latest work, Oku, does kind of deal with that kind of issue, but in a way that actually serves the story and is actually a well integrated part of the world, because Oku is an alternate history work. Basically, it takes place in feudal Japan, but a feudal Japan that has been ravaged by a disease that has reduced the male population to a fraction of its norm of its former self. So the point that where now women are taking over things. Like there's now a female shogunate, and and the women are in charge of everything, and that's a really interesting dynamic with this first volume right here. I would have the second volume right here. I didn't realize that Amazon was selling the second volume this week as opposed to next. But yeah, those are breaks. And this first volume is a really, really good example of world building, because she does a good job of setting up this world of a female dominated Japan, and also even though it's like there's much less men in the world, like the Oku reference the title, basically the inner references the inner chamber. So you see the shogunate's private harem of men, because as able-bodied men are at a premium in this version of Japan, like it is thought to be the representative of the shogunate's wealth and power, that like they can have this private chamber of several hundred men at her disposal for every whim. Now, as anyone who was familiar with like how feudal Japan was, or during that era, it's like like there's a lot of like guy on guy action going on there, and this is no exception, because like it's like a harem of men with no women to go around. There's lots of that going on. And the main guy, it's like this is one of the greatest examples of this is probably one of those pleasant examples of bait and switch that I've seen in just about any work of fiction. Because like, well, the main guy, the main character is set up as this guy who was just joining to the Oku in order to get out of being forced into marriage by his mother. It's like you see him. He's a very active guy. He's very good natured, right? It's a paradigm of humanity. Like he'll just sleep with women any woman free of charge, just in order to hope of giving them a child. But then he decides to go and join the Oku in order to give his family better prospects. So they get a stipend and all sorts of fun benefits. Right. Then he finds out that apparently like one of the traditions for guys on their first night is to play the woman for the other guys there, and he just threatened to beat the shit out of them if they don't cut this out. Yeah. And then he certainly learns about this stuff. It's like, hey, it's like these guys they kind of do this kind of thing a lot. It's like, there's no other guys there. It's like, it kind of conforms to the thing I said back in the Tezuka podcast. Like in that a lot of these cases, if the guy's pretty enough, it doesn't seem to matter. Like when it comes to manga, but it's funny because his objections to this don't stem from his objections that homosexuality is unnatural, but because hey, you're wasting your seed. There's all these women out there who would want the chance of conceiving a male child in order to help repopulate Japan, but you're just wasting it on your own butt sex. I mean, what the hell? And it's interesting. So that's one of the things I like about it. Cause it's lots of gay sex, but it's well integrated, and it's well integrated to being a part of what the series is about, and that's what I like about this. What I also like about it is that the main guy, it's like, I wish I could remember his name, but he is eventually he's shown to be the point of view character. What it looks like the real main character of the series is going to be the new female shogunate, who is a very parsimonious and stringent and stingy woman who's basically out to reform the shogunate and basically make it much more cost efficient, because we're told throughout the series that the shogunate's coffers are stretched to their breaking point. Gotcha. And after we're introduced to her and she kills the main character in a symbolic fashion, we get to find out we can see how she's going to handle things, and just what the future of this world is going to be through her. Now, and it's great stuff. And to be honest, I wish I could have the second volume here to talk about this, because to be honest, this is probably one of the best things I've read all year, except for the fact that in a very, very rare misstep by Viz, because Viz, their translations for a lot of their stuff are good, and they're also for the most part just generally invisible. Mm-hmm. Now, being invisible for a translation is generally a good thing, because it's say you're doing it, if you're Carl Horn and you're adapting something like Kurosaki Corpse Delivery Service, and you're just being witty to serve the spirit of the original translation, that's great. And if you're a skilled artist Carl Horn, I have no problem with you taking as much liberties as that right there. But most of the time, I want being invisible, the fact that you don't have any complaints, good or bad, about the translation. It's just it's there. It's helping you communicate the story without any problems. That's great stuff right here. Oku, for the most part, and I don't know if this, I have to assume that this is how Yoshinaga wrote this, because I don't think that Viz would go this far to mess with their translation. Is that the entire speech, all the speech patterns for all the characters are done in a faux Shakespearean type of way. You get lots of thous, lots of really ostentatiously formal translation speech, and it's not that it's off-putting, but it's kind of it yanks you out of the dialogue of the world right here. It's kind of are these people really speaking this way? And yeah, it's just I don't know. It's not a deal breaker. This is still something I'd recommend to to anyone who is interested in manga, but it's like just like the translation is just kind of like it's.
That's a creative licensing choice. It's like
Yeah.
we decided to do it that
Yeah,
way.
it's like I'm almost 100% certain that it was that they're just like honoring Yoshinaga's original original dialogue in the series, but it's just kind of like
Doesn't come off right.
yes, it's like but still it's like next week once I find out what other stuff is shipping, I'm ordering volume 2.
There you go.
Yeah, and also this is also releasing another one volume series called All My Darling Daughters in January. And yeah, it's like I'm snatching that up right as it comes out because I'm sure that's gonna be great as well. Yeah, so in the end, it's like this is another podcast where I'm just got almost nothing but good things to say about an author, but for good reason because really Fumi Yoshinaga, he's one of the most compelling authors working in the field today. Okay, and on that note, wrapping it up for now. And next week we'll be back with. I'll be talking about one of the more compelling authors in America these days.
We'll see you next time.
Laters.